What's up, guys? This is At the Buzzer. We're back. It's been a minute. I don't even know. Pressure shirt on. But at the gym. No, I'm fucking around. But so we're gonna be talking about the Chicago Bulls and the whole like Lonzo Ball situation, stuff like that. We'll be working on a background. I know I've been gone for a minute, stuff like that. You know, busy with work. I mean, I wanted this to be perfection, but like I understand like I'm gonna grow and stuff like that. I want this to be something. I want this to be my career. So I look at fuck it. You know what I mean? Like it just looks like this. It will improve, but in due time. So basically, I just want to say what's next for like Lonzo Ball and the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, weird situation with Lonzo. With I think it started off with like a bone knee contusion, something like that. Something with the bone. I could probably search it up right now. Super weird. What happened? I don't know. Basically, they were so good. Lonzo Ball. Yeah. So basically, last season when he first signed on his 4-year, I think like $80 million contract, he was like the Bulls like took this leap. They were the 1 seed for a little bit. Started to slow down in due time because Lonzo got injured because their defense was like top 5 before. But basically, yeah, he got a bone contusion in his right knee. Couldn't walk upstairs, everything, etc., etc. Defense tanks. Chicago's a first round exit to Milwaukee. Just it's tough loss for Chicago, obviously, because there was just they had a core group that was really good. I'm exaggerating, not really good, but pretty good. With DeMar, Zach, Vooch, Lonzo, Caruso stepped up. Javonte Green was huge for them on the offensive side of the ball, not scoring wise, but like getting charges called, offensive rebounds, screening, rolling, etc. So they had something going. They really did. They drafted like their hometown kid, Io DeSumo at Illinois. Had a big college run. Not a big. Had a good college run. Drafted a hometown, so everything was looking good. You know what I mean? Then again, Chicago's also they deserved it. You know what I mean? They were in the trouble. They were in trouble for quite a few years. But basically, back to the Lonzo thing. We'll talk Lonzo, then we'll talk about Chicago and their direction. But Lonzo Ball, knee contusion, as I said, couldn't walk upstairs, was huge for Chicago. Apparently now they don't know if he's going to play again. He was out all this season with surgery. Now it just got reported by Woj. I don't know when this is going to go up, but it's just got reported by Woj that he'll be out all next season. All next season with a knee injury. Cannot walk, cannot rehab. There was videos of him dunking, which I don't get because you're hearing two sides of the story. But I was like, oh shit, like it might be really bad. And then I seen that Shams co-tweeted it basically with a prayer emoji, which is kind of concerning. I'm 19. I grew up kind of watching Lonzo and the Ball family kind of go. I really liked him in UCLA. You know, it kind of translated over. Obviously, things didn't work out in Los Angeles. Kind of worked out in New Orleans. And then it worked. No, I'm not going to lie. It did work out in Chicago. Just Lonzo just had this knee injury for a while, apparently. But, you know, I'm happy that he got paid before this injury. He definitely deserved it. 4 years, $80 million. I don't know what the Bulls are going to do. I think the Bulls, are they going to try to... There was a report of trading him. Don't know what team's going to be interested. Don't know his value. He's on a bigger contract, so you can't just eat that contract and basically have no cap room because that Chicago team is not going to blow it up. We've already seen that they didn't want to sell at the deadline. They should have sold at the deadline. So you can't eat that contract. There's going to be no trade value. You can package him up in a Vooch trade. I mean, actually, no, you can't unless you want to do a sign and trade. But Vooch is essentially gone. DeMar, obviously, I think he has a year left on his contract after this. They won't trade DeMar, and if they do trade DeMar, it'll be next season. Well, yeah, they can't trade him this season, but not off season. I meant not off season, but next season. And LaVine just signed an extension, so he cannot. I mean, he actually can't get traded until the off season, obviously, but like later on. So they have no direction. They have no core guy to build around because LaVine is like 27. I get it. He's not old as shit, but he's good. I mean, he's obviously good, but he's not. You can't build with a 27-year-old. You can't give him the keys. Like, I mean, he earned the keys, obviously. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Earned the keys, and now it's kind of all getting taken away from Chicago. But You can't trade Lonzo. I don't get it. Lonzo will have to be forced to retire, like a Brandon. Did Brandon kind of essentially what's happening with Sean Livingston with his knee, and Brandon Roy. Very talented point guards. I mean, Sean Livingston was super good. I mean, Lonzo wasn't looked at to be this fucking pure all-star greatness. He was compared to Magic Johnson, but then again, it's a draft comparison, and he was going to go top 3 regardless. So you got to hype it up. He's a really good role-playing point guard, essentially. Yeah, so I'm gonna think he's gonna retire, and then in the steps you need to take after he retires is you need a point guard. You're gonna start Io, right? Caruso's probably gonna be gone next season. You gotta move him. You have to move him. Chicago needs to hit this hard reset, and if they can, they have a swap with the Magic. I don't know what it is. I think it's like if it's 8, it goes to Chicago, but if anything below, it goes to Orlando, something like that. I don't know. I have it mixed up. Could have it mixed up, but especially this draft class, Chicago, you need your pick. You need your pick. You need a direction. This is getting you nowhere with this core. Like, you need a center. You have a wing in DeMar, but DeMar's 34 years old. You need a wing. You need a young wing. I've had some players that really look good for Chicago. Like some of the prospects, like if they can if they do get their pick and they get a higher pick, they get Brandon Miller out of Bama. Great pick, great wing. He's super good offensively. One of the Thompson twins. I know they're falling in some drafts. Could fall to Chicago, depending if they get their pick. Jarris Walker out of Houston. But, you don't have this guy. I mean, I've seen some Chicago games where you play Patrick Williams, and he doesn't look bad. He just looks slow. He looks stiff. You kind of got to run more for him, especially in this direction that they're in. Run more for him. Move on from some of these guys. You know what I mean? I can tell you guys some of the teams that I liked, some of the core to go to. Zach LaVine. Honestly, Zach LaVine's New York would probably be the best thing for them. Trading RJ. RJ's stiff wing. So if you implement Zach to that, Zach could be good there. So boom, you'll get picks. New York has a ton of first round picks. You can get RJ Barrett. You can get some. You're gonna get RJ. They're not gonna give up Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is honestly, if I was a Knicks fan, I would not want to trade Quentin Grimes. But I do think RJ would be available, especially because Thibodeau does get visibly frustrated with him. So yeah, that's one thing you can do. You got to let DeMar's contract ride out. There's really nothing you can do. He's going to have no value, especially when it's on a 1-year deal. He's going to be 35, 36 years old. Just eat that contract. Vooch, gone. You're going to lose him for nothing. I guess there's mutual interest with him going back to Orlando. I don't know why. Don't know why. But he's been pretty good for Chicago. But yeah, basically last season, great season, really good jump from what they were. Lonzo injury, defense goes down, offense goes down. They run more through the 2 wings. They've been great. Zach and DeMar have been great. They've been the other. I think Zach and DeMar had 41, and Zach had 39. I'm pretty sure, and DeMar had 41. So you're having the points. Vooch has been playing great. Vooch has been dunking on people. Vooch has been looking like an actual good center, what they actually traded for, and not this bum center that they've been getting who plays no defense. Yeah, so you need to blow it up. Chicago needs to blow this shit up. It looks awful. There's nothing good with this whole team. The upper management sucks. They're not recognizing how bad this team is. And how that there's no sense of direction because the East is loaded. Chicago is not fucking with Milwaukee. Chicago cannot play with my Celtics. Philly will throw them around. Cleveland will absolutely body them because of the size with Mobley, Allen. You know what I mean? What else is another team in the East that would obliterate them? I genuinely think if Indiana, I think Indiana may be in the plan. I have to check. If Indiana faces Chicago, Indiana is going to mess them up. I've seen a couple of games with Chicago and Indiana where Indiana manhandled Chicago. And Chicago is a dumpster fire. I genuinely think they're one of the worst franchises in the league right now. They're awfully ran. I get it. They have a new they have a new front office. Their one before this was awful, but this one's not even good. There's no direction. I get it. You had to make the playoffs, but you need a direction now. You need to get into this draft. You need to make these moves, and you cannot mess this up. This has to go great. Not great. This has to go good. At least good, because you don't want to be the Chicago Bulls that they were of the previous last seasons, where nothing happened. But basically, that's my rant on Chicago and why they're very visibly frustrating and why I cannot stand watching Chicago and why I like watching them get beat. They need help. You guys need to get young. You need to blow it up. That's basically the video.